Alright, hello and welcome everybody to Viper versus DauT. This is a 1v1 game in between the two AoE2 legends during the streaming event of Age of Empires 4. We will have, on the left side, the Viper playing as French this time around versus DauT playing as the Britons. I mentioned it in my previous cast that Britons is basically the closest civilization to what you would get in AoE2, and French is probably the second closest. So both of these civilizations are very similar to AoE2 civs. Viper has messed around a lot with Russ, so it makes me feel like he loves the civilization, but for the people that are transitioning from AoE2 to AoE4, the easiest civilizations to learn is British and French. Anyways, on the left side we'll have Viper as left French, and we will have DauT as blue Britons on the right. So these two civilizations both have an H2 landmark that's capable of training units, and we have a scout fight over here. Not something that you see on a regular basis. In fact, I'm just noticing that this British scout has an axe instead of a sword, which is definitely awkward. But anyways, what I want to highlight is that both of these civilizations have a landmark going up to H2 that can produce units. The British almost always age up with the Council Hall that's capable of producing longbowmen at an increased rate, and the French will age up with the School of Cavalry that's going to give you the chance to make early knights. By the way, I just want to highlight that this is the perfect hunting ground. 14 deer is just beautiful for whoever gets in here. That's, I think, two merged patches of deer. Looks like it's symmetrical, so that's the same thing for the outside as well. There is one big gold in the north, one big gold in the south, and we have smaller gold piles scattered across the map. Looks like DauT is opening with 2 on gold, sends the villagers on berries. For Viper, he is not sending any on berries. I think it's more efficient to just use the sheep at the beginning and not use any berry villagers and then move out for hunt later. I probably prefer Viper's build, going for a lumber camp instead of the mill. Because if you go for a mining camp and you go for a lumber camp, you can't afford a mill to place it on hunt later. But that's not a big deal because you can chop wood to get the wood for it. Whereas on the other side, if you go for a mill and the mining camp, that means that you won't be able to afford a lumber camp, and you see that DauT is going to have to chop down some stragglers to have access to wood. He is already going up to Feudal Age with 2 villagers from gold, as he's going to need a lot of wood to be able to produce longbowmen though. A single longbowman costs 50 wood, so you need a very, very good wood income to be able to produce those. Meanwhile, for Viper, he's also going up to Feudal Age already, so he's gonna have the School of Cavalry coming in, which produces knights at an increased rate. And this is the reason why DauT would need a barracks here, because archers die really badly against early knights, so DauT needs something that combats those knights, and the only thing that he can do is spearmen. So opening archers here won't work for him. The archers just die to the knights so badly because archers are sort of good against light units, and knights are heavily armored. So even if you have a lot of archers, those will struggle against knights. Obviously, if you have, like, I don't know, 50 archers versus 5 knights, they will still beat them. But on even resources terms, the knights win by a considerable margin. Alright, so School of Cavalry on the way for our red player, the Viper. Whereas for DauT, he's building the Council Hall with only 2 villagers. That's something I noticed. Those were the gold villagers of his. So you see that despite the fact that he started earlier, it's gonna finish later than Viper, because while DauT is building it with 2, Viper has built it with like 4 or 5 villagers. And here come the first Royal Knights out there. The Royal Knights not only have, you know, an amazing charge, and they are one of the 2 knights that are available in the Feudal Age. The other one is the Russ Early Knight. But it also gains bonus damage after charging in, so it makes it even more difficult for those archers to deal with this one, as DauT is up with the Council Hall in a moment, but as I said, he would need a lot of archers to deal with these heavy cavalry units. DauT's also on stone. That makes me wonder if he wants to add a second town center rather fast. So he might just play defensive here and try to go for a second TC, which would be amazing over here, by the way, on the Wood and Gold, because that TC would be able to keep Viper away very easily. There is Viper with the mill on the hunt, though. If he's got map control, then he's going to take that deer. And it seems like he currently has map control. So it looks like DauT is popping out those archers. These train ridiculously fast, 7-second training time. It also means that you deplete your wood bank very, very fast doing this. Just for reference, you would need about 400 wood per minute wood income to sustain this. That's a lot of wood income that you need for full longbowman production. Meanwhile, first knight is coming in for Viper. The network of castles bonus will definitely help Britons over here with their extra attack, thanks to the, presence of a defensive building. So a tower or a town center or a castle. You see that when these guys are glowing yellow, that means that they're affected by the network of castles bonus, so their attack speed is increased. That's probably what DauT is playing for right now. He did lose a villager, I believe, over there, so he's down 1 for now. But he was working towards getting a second TC up, and he's got the stone for it. So this will be the moment for him to get a second town center up. Whereas for Viper, he's just gonna be happy to hunt over here. He's getting survival techniques, so he's gonna have a very good food income from that hunt. And for DauT, still no second town center, but so far he's been just chasing those knights down. One of the things that you have with those knights, though, is that, as I said, on even resource terms, the knights should beat the longbowmen, but they train a lot longer. So you see that the Royal Knights take 29 seconds to build, and the longbowmen only take 7 seconds to build. That's the reason why Viper isn't able to push this one, because DauT's got a lot more archers out than the actual amount of knights. Once you have like 4 or 5 knights against these 6 to 8 to 9 longbowmen, that should be a decisive win for Viper, assuming that DauT is not getting the network of castles bonus. So if DauT moves out, then he will probably still lose to Viper's knights, but as long as he's close to his own base, so he's got the network of castles bonus, and as long as Viper doesn't have a lot of knights, this is still pretty decent for DauT. Alright, looks like Viper is getting Chivalry, so he's going to get the upgrade which allows him to just heal up his knights passively when outside of combat. That's because quite a lot of his knights are somewhat battered, so he doesn't want to lose these expensive and slowly training units. He just wants to go for the healing ability. Looks like now DauT is just booming, as always, going for a second town center already. And meanwhile, Viper is playing 1 TC. On the other hand, if you look at Viper's resources, that starts to look like we're getting close to Castle Age from the Viper. And what he could do is move up with a Siege Workshop and just start mangoing down the town centers. That could be an idea. Or potentially even going for Springolds. That could be a decent plan as well. Plus, if he goes up to Castle Age, he would be able to upgrade his knights to Castle Age. And of course, he would be able to get the Castle Age defense upgrade, which would make it much easier for him to make sure that those archers can pick his knights apart. The knights charge in and pick off 2 villagers and then disengage. And this is where the healing ability will come into play, because Viper will be able to heal up his knights without any problems. Picked off 2 villagers, so he's gonna have to be satisfied with that. Let's see what we have on the other side. Looks like Viper is just... that's DauT, actually. Excuse me. So DauT is just scouting Viper. He sees that Viper is going up with the Royal Institute. That's the standard age up building for H3 for the French. As that's a 4 villager moving out for what will be a Siege Workshop. Unless it gets intercepted. Because I think DauT saw the villager moving up. And he was looking for it. In fact... DauT is moving up to try and deny the H3 landmark from Viper. This could be massive. I think Viper will have time to finish it right right? Yes, he's gonna finish it. He's gonna lose a couple of villagers doing so, but he's already behind in villager counts. He just wants to build on that castle age advantage. Now the archers will pick off a couple more villas, but they will easily get surrounded by those knights, and especially the royal knights that have a charge attack, like a bonus after a charge attack. That's gonna be massive. I loved how DauT absorbed the charge with his scout though. That was so smart from him. He actually went in front of the knight, so that the knight charged into the scout and not the archers. Looks like that one knight is gonna go down, but you see, as I said, on even resource terms, the knights actually beat the longbows, unless the longbows get the palings, which is apparently not the case right now for DauT. He actually started the palings, but then it didn't finish, and now it's gonna be a cleanup. There is the forward siege workshop coming in here from Viper. So DauT's economy is definitely better than Viper's, or at least it should be better, because he's got 2 TCs. He's got a lot of farming as well, but these farms aren't in the influence radius of a mill. That's a problem for DauT. So the Britons only get the farming bonus if the farm is inside the range or the influence radius of a mill. You see, this little farm has the plus sign, these don't. So DauT is not getting the Briton farming bonus at all right now. It would have been way better to place those farms around the mill, or even better to have a mill placed around here that affects these farms around the town center. Nonetheless, Viper is going for a mangonel here. I can see a springald working as well, because the springald has a very long range, so it could just start shooting at that castle from like insane distances, and it also does a lot of damage to a single target. Here comes the counterattack from DauT once again. Looking at Viper, and his blacksmith upgrades, he has not gotten a single defense upgrade, so it's a little uncharacteristic of him. Another villager goes down to DauT's archers here. Viper could really use a defensive tower in here, and it looks like DauT, knowing that he's gonna lose his archers to the knights, he's just gonna try to dive in and pick off as many villagers as possible. Viper also knows that the knight here should be able to clean this one up without problems, so he can just move forward and start mangoing down that town center. The knights also charge in. They will pick off a couple of villagers, but they now have depleted their charge. And it looks like DauT is probably focusing vills in here. That's why he's not paying attention. But he lost so many vills here. That's like 5 or 6 vills going down to the knights. Now the knights will retreat. Viper, so far we go mangonel, shelling that town center out there. This mangonel isn't doing a huge amount of damage, which makes me wonder if the springald is the better option. Because the springald might be better against buildings, I don't know. But that's a possibility. Anyways, looks like Viper has moved out 4 berries here on the far left. Still has quite a lot of villagers on the hunt, and that's gonna last for quite a long time. Meanwhile, knights are coming in. DauT loses 2 more villagers out here, as he is trying to get some barracks up for some defensive spearmen. Meanwhile, the archers try to dive in, snipe the mangonel. Viper will take a shot. Viper takes the shot. The mangonels eat a big hit on their head. Meanwhile, Viper is just waiting for his knights to heal up once again. You see that this healing rate is actually pretty decent, so Viper can just come in and raid again in a matter of moments. Mangonel once again trying to take the shots. DauT is juking them for the time being. Spearmen are being added, but DauT is still feudal age. And I feel like spearmen should have been a thing earlier for him against French. You just can't play with full archers against the French, because the knights will punish you. I don't know what this villager is up to, but he's gonna have some suicidal thoughts here, apparently. Anyways, once we have a couple of spearmen, they could just rush down that mangonel, and then maybe even just destroy that siege workshop on the front. DauT is thinking about diving in and sniping that mangonel, but the mangonel is about to take a shot, and DauT, he juked the first volley. Here come the spearmen, and they could try to just set that mangonel on fire. And the infantry is very good at setting siege weapons on fire. You see, a couple of torches and this mangonel is going down. Viper has another mangonel as well, so DauT still has to juke some of the projectiles out there. But you see, DauT is just moving sideways, so Viper can track the movement of those archers. Looks like the mangonel will survive. Viper brings in a repair villager, And it looks like the knight here will probably go down to the spearman and the combined force of archers. Nope. The knight survives, but the spearman goes down from DauT. Some more knights coming from behind by Viper. DauT will try to retreat to the safety of this town center. He does have the network of castles here, and he could try picking off that knight as well. So far, DauT is still in Feudal Age, but he's got 2 town centers. Viper has been 1 town center for the whole time. So I'm tempted to say that DauT might still have the better resource income, although it seems like that's not true. DauT has way more wood income, but everything else is in the favor of Viper. Viper still 1400 food already, because I think all his farms, if he has any farms, are in the range of a mill. Looks like he doesn't have any farms, it's just the hunt that's still working for him. Let's see, spearmen now diving in. These spearmen aren't particularly effective over here. They are still quite under-upgraded, and they're Feudal Age units in general. DauT, with the market, he wants to probably buy himself up. He's floating a lot of gold. He still is in the need of a mill here and here. If he had those mills in here, he would have like 3 times the food that he has right now. Since trebuchets are castle age units, Viper is gonna pop out a treb, and he's gonna start shelling this town center over here. The farm is also a little blaze, and it's gonna go down in a matter of moments. DC is also on fire. DauT apparently is trying to repair as best as he can, but it's still gonna be difficult to hold this position, as DauT is really thinking about going up. Still, what DauT needs is a lot more spearmen. Like, way more than this one. He is adding, apparently, men-at-arms. The problem with the men-at-arms, first off, is that these are just Vanguard men-at-arms, not even early. So they are Dark Age units for the Britons. They are actually very underwhelming against Castle Age Knights. In general, men-at-arms isn't really a great unit against the Knights. You would continue with Spearmen. But the Vanguard men-at-arms in particular is just so weak, because it's a Dark Age unit. The only civilization that has men-at-arms available in Dark Age is the Britons, but that's a unit that's gonna struggle in Castle Age, obviously. White Tower coming in for DauT, so he's going for the second option as a landmark. He's not going for the... what is it called? I forgot the name of the town center landmark, but he's not going for the extra town center landmark. He's going for the one that acts as a keep, so he probably knows that this side might be pushed, so he needs a defensive castle. That's why he's going for the White Tower landmark. So, as things stand, it looks like he's got another range over here. He has taken a big mangonel hit, apparently, here on top of his forces, and he's getting the veteran longbowman upgrade right now. What he needs is a couple of crossbows. Crossbows would be very, very good to pierce armor here against the knights. And you could just add a couple of spearmen in front as a meat shield. Viper does have a scout here overlooking that stone mine. I wonder if he's gonna send out some knights, which are now, by the way, veteran royal knights, to try and harass DauT from the north. Here comes DauT with the archers. This is a risky micro, trying to come in with the men-at-arms and the spearmen, but he needs to retreat, and you see, Viper knows exactly that infantry is needed to destroy those siege weapons. That's why he's diving in and killing those before the numbers of the infantry could increase. As I said before, the key thing playing against French is that you want to have some early spearmen against them, because once they mass those knights, they are real difficult to deal with, especially when you only have archers. Now DauT could go crossbowman, he's going for it. So he's not giving up on this one just yet, but I think he has lost way too much, and crossbow alone won't be enough here either, because the mangonels will just tear him apart, and he's not paying attention! DauT! Oh, DauT! I mean, up until this point he had a small chance of turning this around. That's no longer the case, and now Viper is just absolutely annihilating him with mangonels. Oh boy. Viper is just shelling the council hall now. It would be easier to destroy the range first, but DauT taps out after losing his entire army and also his gold miners. Viper takes the win here with French. Moral of the story, against French you want to mix in some spearmen relatively early, so that you don't die that easily to the knights. Once you sort of have a decent force of spearmen, you can start thinking about, okay, I will transition to crossbowmen to deal with the knights, but you need something that deals with knights in feudal age against the Franks here. You see that the score was relatively even for quite a long time. I want to see the villager count, because that was also way better for DauT for the majority of the game, but once Viper started pushing him with multiple mangonels, it started falling out of control for DauT, and in the end he finishes the game with less villagers than Viper.